Hi again and welcome back. Attorney Steve Vondran here. We are talking in this video about a new law proposed by Democrat, let me find his name here, Representative Lord Swawell from California, as you see here. He has proposed a new law called the Journalist Protection Act because we need to now protect journalists. They need special rights. So let's take a look at this. This is the House website, so he's a member of the House of Representatives, and he has proposed a new law that they want to pass. And let's take a look at the actual text of the law here. Okay, so let's get down here. This is the H.R. House of Representatives 4935 Journalist Protection Act. Okay, so let's see what they're looking for. Okay, so this is a bill to amend Title 18 United States Code to provide a penalty for assault against journalists and for other purposes. Whatever those other purposes are, we don't know. But assault against journalists. Okay, sounds interesting. I'm following. The act may be cited as a Journalist Protection Act. Okay, so what does it say? Assault against journalists. In general, whoever in or affecting interstate commerce, this is a federal law, so if it's federal, it has to affect interstate commerce or foreign commerce, intentionally commits or attempts to commit, 1, an act described in subsection B shall be fined under this section or imprisoned, so you could go to jail for not more than 3 years, or both, or an act described in subsection C shall be fined, entitled to prison not more than 6 years, or both. Okay, well, this sounds pretty serious. So somebody could, if you violate this law, you could end up 3 years or 6 years in prison. All right, well, let's see what's going on here. So what's the issue? Bodily injury to a journalist. An act described in this subsection is an act that causes a bodily injury to an individual, 1, who is a journalist, 2, who committed with knowledge or reason to know such individual is a journalist, 3, committed while such journalist is taking part in news gathering, or B, with the intention of intimidating or impeding news gathering by such journalist. So if you do any of these things, you could be in big trouble. If there's serious bodily injury, so this section B is bodily injury, this section is serious bodily injury. If something causes serious bodily injury, then you could be facing 6 years. If it's just regular bodily injury, you could be facing 3 years. All right, so that's how it's set up. So let's talk about, well, what the heck is bodily injury? That could be anything, right? The term bodily injury has the meaning given such term in section 1365 H4 of this title, which I believe is section 18 USC. Yes, to amend Title 18 USC. So you have to go and find out what the definition of that is, and that's really the big key here. So journalist, and you can read some of these other sections if you want to find out the other definitions. Journalist is this, that, or the other, by, it could be through television broadcast, radio broadcast, all kinds of things. So you have to go in and find out what a journalist actually is. It could be a blogger, who knows? It could be, a serious TV station. It could be fake news media. It could be anything. Who knows? But let's go and try to find out what this means. What does serious bodily injury mean? What does bodily injury mean? In section 1365 H4. So that's really the questions that we're facing here. So if we go and we take a look, do I have it down here? I thought I had it down here. Let me take a peek here. These are some of my other things. Yes, I think we have it here. Okay, so bingo! By the magic wand of Attorney Steve's legal wand, we are now at section 18 USC 1365, and it talks about what bodily injury means. This is important to know, because if you're going to attack or intimidate or do something to a journalist or prevent them from gathering the news or telling the news, you need to be careful, because if you're criticizing them and they're upset at what you're doing and it causes bodily injury, you could be facing jail time or a civil action. Who knows? The term bodily injury means A, cut, abrasion, bruise, burn, or disfigurement. That makes sense. If you do that to somebody, you should be punished for that. I get it. For B, physical pain. Okay. Physical pain means probably there was something that happened to the body and the body feels physical pain. I get it. C, illness. I don't know how you're going to cause an illness, but I suppose if a journalist contracted some illness, I don't know what that illness, I'm not a doctor, I don't know what that illness could be, but if you contracted some kind of illness, I guess you could go to jail. And if the one I'm concerned with actually is Section D, impairment of the function of a bodily member, organ, or mental faculty. What does that mean? So if you do something to a journalist, whatever that word means, and it causes bodily injury in the form of a impairment or a problem to the mental faculty, that means like the brain, the mind, the psyche, then you could go to jail. That's pretty wild. So if somebody contends, let's say you have a reporter and they contend, gosh, I heard all these, brutal things about me in fake news, and now I'm distressed and in a hospital trying to deal with this stress because I've been called out for fake news. Does that mean a prosecutor somewhere might pick up the case and the person who did that could be subject to 3 to 6 years in prison? I mean, that's pretty crazy, something to think about. And E, Section 4E, any other injury to the body, whatever that means, no matter how temporary. So it could be, oh my gosh, I blacked out. I blacked out when I heard this allegation that I was reporting fake news, or I was trying to report on something and I got called out on it and now I'm blacking out. So this is the kind of law that a Democrat from California is putting forward. I think it's an infringement on free speech. Other people may look at it differently, but I think it's an infringement on free speech, and I'm not sure this actually makes sense. So I'm hoping this doesn't get passed into a law. Of course, it has to go to the House and then the Senate, and then the president has to sign it. I'm not sure that the president would sign this, but I mean, these are the kinds of, to me, the kinds of attacks on personal freedom of speech that are really kind of scary, and I think free speech advocates need to step up on this kind of thing and say, we don't need these kinds of things, and just report the news accurately, be fair and honest. You get to criticize the president and everybody else, and if the president criticizes you, you shouldn't get your feathers all ruffled. You should just say, hey, maybe I'll be more accurate, or maybe I'll push harder on what I'm doing, or maybe I'll be more factual, or whatever the case may be. But to criminalize somebody under a standard like causing a problem to the mental faculty, I think that's dangerous. As a free speech advocate myself, I don't like it. But anyway, I just wanted to report. You decide. This is the information that came to me across the wire today, and so I thought I'd talk about it. If you have any comments, please leave the comments down in the comments box below. If you like the broadcast, feel free to subscribe and join over 5,000 other people who enjoy our show. And always be an advocate. Keep your eyes open. You never know when your freedoms are gone until they're gone. Take care. Attorney Steve out. If you need more information, you can find us at attorneysteve.com. We'll talk to you later. Have a great night.